Bienvenidos to Humans in Accounting, the podcast where we pause the AI buzz for a minute and focus on the real humans behind the numbers. We chat with founders and leaders to hear their journey, what drives them, and the important things in life. Because behind every balance sheet, there's a story worth telling. Humans in Accounting is brought to you by South Offices. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Humans in Accounting, where firm owners share their stories behind their spreadsheets. I'm Alex Roman, and this podcast is brought to you by South Offices, connecting accounting talent across borders. Today's guest, I'm really happy just to introduce to Amanda Timcoe, owner at Solving the Books. And as we usually do here at Humans in Accounting, we'll be sharing or she'll be talking, we'll be talking about her company and how she got here to this podcast. So yes, I'm really happy just to talk with you, Amanda. Amanda, nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for whoever's listening, and hopefully I will try not to bore anyone.
No, of course not. I'm sure we're gonna have fun. Amanda, yes, really happy. First, I want to ask you, I don't remember, was it in Scaling New Heights last year? No, it was in BKX where we met, right?
Yes, yep, BKX. You were in the hallway taking pictures with everyone, so we got a picture together. Yep.
Yeah. That was over a year ago. Now, unfortunately, just by a message on LinkedIn, we weren't able just to meet and scaling New Heights. But yeah, if you're gonna be there next year, are your plans to go next year as well?
Yeah, I love going to conferences, so I definitely plan to be there. We'll see
Well,
what other ones I might be going to. We'll see.
perfect. Well, we need just to make sure just to talk next year on Scaling New Heights. I'm looking
Absolutely.
forward for that one. So great. I'm happy that you joined today. And yeah, it would be nice if you can tell me or tell us and the listeners here in the future a little bit about your background, how you got into, and yeah, everything until this point that you're here as a guest in Humans in Accounting. That'll.
Okay, well, buckle in. So I have a kind of a weird way of describing where I am, and I don't know if it's the best example. I don't know if you've ever seen the show. Now, this is in the US, so I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it was called The Pretender. And there's a main character. His name was Jared. And he had this ability to be any profession. He could just pretend so good that people thought, I mean, he pretended to be a surgeon. And so while I'm not pretending, I would say that I've had a lot of different directions in my life. And so that's kind of taking me down different career paths. And basically whatever served a purpose at a time, that's kind of where I was. So I just was kind of trying out those directions, trying to make sure that I definitely didn't want to go into accounting, even though deep down I felt like it was kind of a given. And I don't know if that's like a family trait or something, because my sister, we all knew she was going to be a hairdresser. But she did all these other careers first, and then she eventually became a hairdresser. So maybe it's just like something that we do, but here we are. And I was actually good at math when I was in school, and I liked it. You know, I never had to study for it. And I never understood how you study for math. I mean, I feel like you either know it or you don't. Like, you learn the concept or you don't. I don't know how studying does anything. So yeah, and I also, believe it or not, I like spreadsheets.
Mhm.
I used to spend my spare time just building budgets in spreadsheets and then going through them, running like scenarios, planning for the future with that information. And I like that part, especially actually. So a few years ago, I decided to just finally go all in, stop dilly-dallying, as some people say over here, and get into the accounting industry. And I don't do taxes, though. I do business advisory with some add-ons like bookkeeping, sales tax, payroll, and I'm pretty sure I will not be getting into taxes. However, I
Okay.
do like tax strategy and tax planning. I find those super fascinating. So I guess maybe it's just like the future planning portion that I like. So I guess if I ever get into taxes, it's going to be for the strategy and planning portion, which might mean I have to do taxes, or maybe we'll just use you guys to help us out.
Absolutely. That'll be great. I have a few questions that I want to ask you, but was there any like a specific point where you said, "Hey, I want to build my own company," and or you had first one client and you were solving their lives, and maybe they told you, "Hey, you need just to do this for someone else," and then you thought about the cool name, solving the books, or how was there a magic moment, or
I feel
what
like it
happened?
all is a lot of things that come together. I like organizing. I mean, as evidenced by my already liking of spreadsheets and things like that. But situational, being like that's what made me have all my other careers moving around because they always fit the situation that I was in. And so I was now shifting to a different part of my life. I was getting older. We moved to Florida from living up the Northeast from New Jersey. And being farther from family, and my father-in-law, he's in his 80s. So we felt like I needed something to be flexible. And I've always had flexible jobs, but I needed something where I could take it with me. And so that's what kind of made me go down the accounting road. But once I started doing it, I don't know, there's so many, I feel like just liking what I'm doing, but then like picking, we're always encouraged to pick a niche. And so I kind of let them find me, and I kind of came down to three. And because I have experience in all three of them at points in my life, and there's things about them that I enjoy about all three. So I'm like, okay, I can't just pick one.
All right, but hold on. You're talking
Yeah.
about three different niches that you work with?
Yeah, I would say like specialize in.
All right. Please tell me which are those
And you'll
three.
see they kind of go together. Like, okay, so the main one's real estate investors. I live in South Florida. I mean, real estate is like, that's probably one of the biggest things up next to tourism here. Um,
Okay.
and then with that often comes construction. So a lot of these
Right.
investors are flipping properties. And then the last one is more of like my own, is restaurants. And that's actually, I have real estate investor clients that have restaurants, but I used to be in the hospitality industry. And I think everyone has a hobby, and mine's trying new restaurants, things to eat.
Okay.
So then it's like easy, just like talking to the owners, and we become friends, and so it's just more like a passion thing. So yeah, that's kind of how I picked the three. And
Okay. And that's great, but I can imagine that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that like doing bookkeeping for a restaurant is completely different than doing it for real estate, right?
absolutely, yeah.
Right.
And it does create a bit of a challenge with kind of standardizing my own processes. Um, but because they're so different, we kind of create templates that are for this kind of client and this kind of client. Honestly, real estate is the hardest because
Hmm.
they're so varied. Again, I have a real estate investor client who has a restaurant. So it's like that's actually what makes it more challenging, is that type of a client, because restaurants have the same model, but not all real estate investors have the same model business. It could be short term, it could be long term, it could be private equity, it could be, I mean, it just can go all over the place. And so, which is cool because I also love learning. And so I think I'll never be done because it's just like always changing. Yeah, I
Okay,
like,
okay. That makes perfect sense. Now that we are talking about restaurants, and now you told me that one of your passions is, I don't know if you know, but on this specific podcast in Humans in Accounting, now we started this, I don't know how many episodes I've been asking this question, but for me, one of the important things in life is food. I'm a foodie guy.
yep,
Yes, that's
same here.
me. So I need to ask you, what's, yeah, direct question. What's your favorite food?
I was prepared because I did watch some of
Okay.
your other episodes, but it is a very challenging question. I feel like that's like asking a parent what their favorite child is. And I know there's parents that actually have favorite children, but I feel like the better question is what would be your last meal? Because you can like so many meals. Although, if you get tapas, you could have like your last meal could be tapas and it's like a bunch of things, right? So,
Right, right, right. But hold on.
yes,
Now that
don't worry. I'm going to be specific.
now that you mentioned that, wouldn't you pick your best food as your last meal?
Yeah, yeah. And,
Okay.
many people, I don't know what people will think about this, but okay, so I am from the Northeast and I'm a sentimental person. So a lot of things for me go with like memories and whatever. And so I'm going to have to say pizza.
Pizza.
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
Okay.
also from the Northeast, we have some of the best pizza in the world. And I mean, I did go to Naples, so I know, and it's good. It's just different. So,
Okay. Okay. I need just to tell this. Me as Argentinian, I don't know. We're Argentinians, we say that we have like all the best in each
yeah,
category, and I defend that. And actually, for me, the Argentinian pizza is really, really good. I've been to Naples. I prefer Argentinian pizza. So if you're ever here in Argentina, I'll be more than happy just to take you to a
yeah,
good. It's a different kind of pizza. It's like a really big and it with lots
just
of mozzarella. It's thick, yes, but it's really good. And now that you mentioned this, I'm pretty sure that the pizza is it has already two votes. So yeah, my plan is for episode 100 just to put the ranking of
yeah,
the top food of the humans in accounting. And this episode, I'm pretty sure that pizza is number one
yeah,
because of the vote you just made.
yeah. You know, I like that's what I mean about the sentimental thing is you're used to the pizza that you're used to. That's why I didn't say like it had. Well, for me, yes, it has to be from that area, New Jersey, New York. I've tried it in different places. Even in Florida, I'm trying, me and my husband, it's like our mission to go find some good pizza down here. And what's good pizza? In reality, I mean, there's places that have amazing brick oven, awesome pizza, but that's not like the kind we grew up with. And it's a very specific, like thin crust, good amount of sauce, but not too much. Not the sauce that's like sweet. And then like good cheese, like quality cheese, and a little greasy.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, it's kind of like what I grew up with.
Now, since you're in Fort Lauderdale, I remember last year, I'm not sure. Yeah, I was at a Reframe.
Mm-hmm. In Hollywood.
They were in Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah.
So North Miami, there is this really typical Argentinian pizzeria. It's called Banchero. That's how you pronounce it in Spanish. But then I'll show you if you're ever in the area.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's
you
nearby.
can try it. You can try it out. It's well one that I like personally. But well, great. Thank you for much for not answering directly that question. It's important just to build this ranking
Yeah.
of food and humans in accounting. Let's go back to solving the books, which I need to say I love your website. I also love straightforward the name. You came up with that name. How was the thought process to solving the books?
I know that brand is very important and a name like it took a long time to decide because it feels like it's pigeonholing you. Like even now, as my business expands, I worry that putting books in the name makes it sound like that's all I do. And so it might have to change eventually. I don't know, or evolve. But I feel like the name what needs to send the message of and touch the person like when they read it they should get a feeling. And so if it was Amanda's bookkeeping, I don't know, do you get like a feeling? I mean, maybe you get like, okay, I'm gonna have to hire someone, spend money, whatever. Whereas if you hear solving the books, you just hear a solution to a problem. To me, that's what it sounds like. So
No, I agree 100%. Actually, I remember when we were thinking about the names South offices. We offices that are on the south that goes directly to the point. So no. I love the name. I don't. Well, it's obviously up to you, but I don't think there's a need just to change the name. Eventually, you do something else than solving the book, so that's all good. And I was looking at your website. I love your website. That's a website you designed yourself. You worked with the company.
I got some help there. I did my own initially and I was proud of it. And then my friend who does web design was like, no. So he made it a little more SEO friendly, and I like bright colors. I like to be happy. So if anyone ever does see me regularly, they'll notice that I always wear bright colors. And so he made sure that was in there, and green is definitely in the realms of green are all in my favorite colors. And to me, they evoke like kind of hope and happiness. Like you think of plants,
Yeah,
growth,
yeah.
so yeah, he helped me
I
with that.
agree. I agree also with that. But yeah, it's a really nice website that I see. You put a lot of effort, or well, your friend did. So
Mm-hmm.
that's great. Yeah, let's go back to solving the books. I want to ask you if there's this is a question that I usually ask. Like, if I ask you for one milestone or one big achievement that you had in these years, something that what's the first thing that comes to your mind if there's something?
Yeah, this one was actually, we don't have a super long history, and I
Hmm.
I was thinking like, what is that? To me, an achievement and milestone is like something that makes me feel happy, like I've reached something. So
Exactly.
so I would say I've had two, and they're kind of the same. One was the good word of a CPA on my work, and then the second is positive reviews from my clients. And my family can attest to this because I'm a people pleaser. So I like to make people happy, and obviously it has its challenges, having boundaries and things like that. But I am getting better at it. So yeah, I mean, I used to be like I said, I was in the hospitality industry. My favorite moment. This I actually did on my Instagram for my business. One time I talked about this example. Um, so one night, because customer service has changed so much in all industries, I don't feel like it's as good as it used to be. I don't even know if like people are really trained on it anymore. So when you have it, I think it makes a big difference. Going a little bit like above and beyond. Which why I say having boundaries is a challenge, because if you want to be a pleaser, then you end up, killing yourself to please everybody. So anyway, I had this difficult customer this one night, and he was just really ornery. I'm like an
Hmm.
ornery older guy. But I just kept being nice to him, trying to make conversation. And as the night went on, his mood started to improve. And at the end, he gave me a $2 bill that was special to him. And he said it was because I was nice to him, and despite him being a miserable customer. And so that was really special to me, because little did he know I'm super sentimental. And so I actually saved that $2 bill. And every time I see a $2 bill, I think of him and the value of customer service. And so, there really is, it would be nice to be helpful and still have some boundaries. As long as I think everyone knows what to expect, then we can give, as much as we can to help people. And we're all having tough times sometimes. So,
No, for sure. The thing is, for me, well, I mean, you mentioned something that for me, maybe for all humans in accounting, and also humans that are not in accounting, like
mhm.
being recognized from if you're doing something for your client and your client says, "Hey, thank you so much, Amanda. You helped me out a lot. Thank you, Alex. Because of you, I'm able to grow this and now spend more time with my family," or something that that it's valuable for them. Obviously, that's something that it's gonna be that we all gonna appreciate. But at the same time, I was reading this other book, or yeah, sometimes it's also important just to say no, because you mentioned trying to please everyone, and sometimes we have this, we just say yes, sure, and then you say yes so many times to so many people, and maybe it's impossible just to do all those things. So
Yeah.
I think it's also important just to try also to say no. But yeah, I agree. I agree with what you've said.
I'm in kind of a course right now with other business owners, and we talk about, I know one of your other previous guests talked about the why, and he kind of like made fun of the why thing.
Hmm.
I think it does help you have a vision, and everyone has a different vision for their business. And mine plays into this. Like my vision is having that, which the all elusive work life balance. But I think that's every person and business owner's goal. It's not even just a business owner goal. That's just like people in general. And so I want that for me. I want that for my team, and I want it for my clients. So if there is no boundaries anywhere, like how do you ever achieve that? Like, so if there has to be, and like I said before, as long as there's an understood, communicated expectation, then everybody's happy. We can be there for you when you need, but like to have actual some balance, there needs to be some lines there, right? So yeah, I think that part's important. Then it guides like all your movements, what you're doing.
Right, exactly. Let me ask you about the future. You told me a little bit about how you got here. What are you doing now? Tell me, what are your plans, your vision for the next 70 years? That's a lot of
Boy.
time, but for the next few years in of solving the books. At the beginning, you said maybe if you do something else, you can just put it as another business unit. I think there's no need just to change the name. But what are your plans for the future?
Well, that because of the changes in our industry with AI, that's like in evolution constantly. So, what's my goal this year and what it could be later could change. I mean, it's like so wild how quickly things are changing. Right now, I think after going to Scaling New Heights and really, we're starting to understand more now where things are headed with AI, and we're already using elements of it. And then, so we have to stay on it. So my team has to understand, and their roles are going to change hugely. I think it's going to affect them more than anything because they were in the day to day. They were doing more like of the data, things. And now it's going to shift out of that. I mean, it's cool. I think, although most people get into bookkeeping, whatever, usually it's because you don't want to talk to anyone and you just want to go in your little hole and do your work. That is going to change. So we are going to become more of a we are going to become more in a relationship with our clients, and I think that's a good thing. Some studies were done this past year, I think it was through OnPay, and I think there's multiple of them actually out there that say that one of the biggest gripes that people have with their accounting team, whoever they may be, is that they don't hear from them enough. And I just find that wild. My clients probably would complain they hear from you too much. I think, yeah, like we're supposed to be your trusted advisor. So I want you to know that you can come talk to me and that we're going to, like, this is a team effort. So I think that's where it's going to change. And so I'm just prepping my team and myself for that, getting to know the softwares and the things out there that are coming so that, I think our clients may not be ready for it yet, but we need to be ready for when they're ready for it.
Yeah. Completely agree. It makes no sense now just to make plans. I was obviously kidding for 7 years, but
Yes.
everything is moving so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. Let me ask you this. This is one of my favorite questions that I've been asking in this podcast. And you know what? I'm also been asking this when I don't record an episode friends, to people that I know, that I respect. What's a good advice? What's a good advice that you can give someone starting a business, or what's a good advice that you would have appreciated if someone gave you back when you started? What's that one good advice? And I know I'm just asking for one, but yeah, tell me the first thing that comes to.
I think the most important one, because I did have it, I can't imagine not having had it, is getting a mentor. So whether that's one person or a community, because there's so many communities out there, we're fortunate that our industry is pretty helpful, and like all the different communities out there are very helpful of one another. And especially when you start a business, so whether you're in accounting industry or a different one, it can feel lonely. So I think, your family, your friends, it is going to take your time up front, and you're going to have a lot of, you're going to be missing some things initially. And so they're not going to understand. And so to have a mentor, those there that can help you with that, is going to be pivotal. And I don't mean ignore your family. Like, that would be my goal to help my clients or anyone who's starting a business, is to do it right from the beginning. And that's what we all want, but it's hard. But if you have a mentor and they're at different points in business, so more than one even, now you're getting people who are further ahead of you that can tell you, like, don't do that, or I did that and this is what happened. So I think that's like one of the, if I had to pick one, that would be it.
Yeah, all right. And when you were giving this answer, I mean, I also have a mentor. I think that's really good quality advice. But how do you mentor? I mean, in my case, that was something that just happened, and probably for each one of us, it's different. But yeah, definitely, if you can take advantage of some advice of people that have been there, that done that before, it's really important. But at the same time, I also want to say that sometimes it's important just to make some errors yourself and learn from those, because sometimes someone tells you, hey, you don't need to go down that road, but still, in order just to understand that experience, you need just to go down that road and realize that was a mistake.
There's inevitably going to be those people out there that are like you, like the child that needs to burn their hand on the stove to know it's hot.
Yeah,
So, hey, you could have a mentor and you can still not listen to them. But it's still good to have one
no, for sure,
and
for
support
sure.
you when it doesn't work out or whatever, to be there as a
Yeah.
support.
And especially when you start, that you're all by yourself, I think that's really, really important and key. So that's good advice. Thank you for that answer. Well, Amanda, it's really nice having you here in Humans in Accounting. People in the future watching, listening to this episode, and if they want to reach out, what's the best way to do that? I know that you're active on LinkedIn, but is there a better way just to reach out?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn. I mean, I'm on all socials other than TikTok. I think I'm too old for that anymore. But or my website. If you go on my website, there's a link to schedule time with me. I meet with anyone for 15 minutes for free, and if you just want to chat, I'm there. Depending on what the situation is, it could be longer chat if we want. Yeah, socials, LinkedIn, website.
Perfect. And if not directly, solvingthebooks.com, you can go there, reach out to Amanda. Maybe if you're watching this in the future and you have a restaurant or you're in real estate, that'll be great. Or if you just want to watch or see her website, it's really nice, then maybe they can reach out so that you can share that friend of yours who helped you
Sure.
with the website.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Amanda, it was really nice having you in Humans in Accounting. Thank you so much for joining. Well, hope to see you soon in a next event.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye bye.